Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Do I sound like I just woke up? Because I totally did. Oh, I had to drive last night from San Francisco to Los Angeles and I didn't do so till very late. Didn't get back till like 3 in the morning. And so now I am all rested, but I woke up at like 11 a.m., which was like 5 minutes ago, and so now I knew I needed to cast some games for today, so here I am casting some games with my sexy morning voice, and so let's jump into this game right now. Spawning in the 3 o'clock position as the green Protoss, we have Grubby. Spawning as his opponent as the yellow Zerg in the 9 o'clock position, we have imbaLoWeLy. Now this is going to be a first game of a best of 3 that was played in the Go4SC2 Tournament just yesterday on Halloween. And so we're going to see if playing these matches on Halloween is going to affect these players at all. Were these players out partying and drinking all weekend before having to get up in the morning and be like, oh man, I got to play that Go4SC2 tournament today. So we're going to have to see if either player was affected by the fact that this game was played on Halloween day. Or maybe they're just waiting to party tonight. Maybe they're just really anxious because they want to go get some partying done tonight. And they're just like, you know what, let's get these games over with. Let's just cheese a couple of games and be done with it. We are going to have to see what exactly these players are going to do, as Grubby is now throwing down a Forge at his expansion. Looks like it is going to be a Forge fast expand here from Grubby, which is kind of an interesting build to do on this map. It is possible here to do with this choke, but as you can see, it's kind of far away from his main. His main has kind of got this big, huge area here, and then he's got to build it all the way over here. If you just look on the mini-map, you can actually see how far away that Forge fast expand is from his main. I mean, it's generally okay. Your opponent is obviously not going to have flying units this early in the game or drops or anything like that. It's just going to be a little bit more area to defend if your opponent does, in the mid-game, try to go for something a little bit tricky. If your opponent had some way to get up this ramp or to get up into your main, then if your units are having to jump between all the way out here to all the way over here, could be a little bit of a problem, but I don't see it as being too much of a problem. Against Zerg, I don't think there's really a whole lot that he's going to need to worry about. Drops that early are not all that likely from Zerg players, but what we do have coming from Zerg here, we do have a fast spawning pool followed by gas here, so it looks like we're going to be getting some minerals up, and there goes a drone. Looks like he's going to be taking his expansion. He does have enough resources to do so, though it is a little bit late. You want to have a drone there in position ready to be thrown down the second you have 300 minerals there, but he had about 50 or 60 saved up there in the bank after he before that hatchery actually got put down. 4 Zerglings are now moving across the map here. Looks like they're going to try to poke in to his opponent's base to see what's going on here. See that there has been a Forge fast expand down here, and the photon cannon is up in time to be able to deflect these Zerglings. These photon cannons, of course, 2-shot Zerglings, so he's going to be able to poke in there just a little bit, but he needs to be careful because he can lose Zerglings very fast. He's going to start to take down the destructible rocks. This is actually an interesting play here. Now, is he going to start to build more Zerglings? Yeah, we do actually see 6 more Zerglings on the production tab here, and Zergling speed is on the way, so he's going to try to break down these destructible rocks, try to go around the back, and whoa, there we do have a cancel there by Grubby. Interesting build there. He actually builds 2 gateways there just because he can't build a cybernetics core yet there, and then he cancels the gateway and replaces it with the cybernetics core once one of his gateways is finished there, and it allows him to have that full wall off and prevent things like these 4 Zerglings from getting into his base there. So I like that there by Grubby. It's a good way of defending against that early aggression. I'm sure that is something he has lost to in the past, and that is why he has started to build those 2 gateways and decided it is just more worth it to build those 2 gateways at the front. But we do have a lot of Zerglings now on the map here. Baneling Nest here, interestingly, coming up from imbaLoWeLy. This is something we see a lot in ZVT, but not so much in ZVP, but it's going to be very interesting. I mean, in the early game. In the mid to late game, it's fairly common to go Banelings against groups of Stalkers and that kind of thing, and ooh, we do have one Zealot here that's going to start to poke at these Zerglings. Now the Zergling speed has just now completed. Needs to be very careful with the Zealot because it could get surrounded. Yeah, we do see it getting surrounded there, but it is within range of that cannon, and the cannon's going to be able to take out those Zerglings and prevent too much damage from being done here. But 10 Zerglings on the production tab right now. Lots and lots of Zerglings going to be coming across the map. He's going to try to break down these destructible rocks and go for a big attack in the natural expansion here, and Grubby's not going to have a whole lot he can do about it because, as you can see, he's only got 1 Zealot, and that 1 Zealot did get trapped out in the middle of the field, and there's now only 1 sentry out here. The cybernetics core warp gate research is very far from being done. The gateways frantically trying to pump out another sentry. Chrono Boost going down on that. Lots of banelings now being created here. 10 banelings currently on the production tab here for lowly. These destructible rocks continuing to go down, and notice that this is on a high ground. So Grubby does not have vision. He cannot shoot with this sentry up at these Zerglings, so these Zerglings are completely free right now to take down these destructible debris, and here come the banelings, manage to take down the forge. All the Zerglings now going to storm in, and there's a force field here, but there is a bit of a gap, and a lot of Zerglings managed to get up into the main. Looks like 6 Zerglings did manage to get up into the main. More Zerglings continuing to come across the map right now, and now these Zerglings are going to start to take down probes, and there's not a whole lot that Grubby can do about it. He's got a couple of sentries here, but they don't even have enough energy for force fields right now, but it looks like he is going to be able to defend that with those probes and those 2 sentries, and more banelings now being warped in right now, and we do see them now coming across, and oh no, looks like Grubby does manage to take one out with the sentry, but he doesn't realize that there are 2 more banelings in his main right now. And ours, oh, there we go. He does finally spot them, and they're going to come in now. And what are they going to do? No, it looks like he's going for the mineral line. And beautiful force field there by Grubby manages to deny that baneling from doing any kind of damage at all. But now the destructible rocks have been taken down here by lowly. He has a bunch of Zerglings in the back right now. If we check out the harvester count right now, we can see he's currently at 32 harvesters to the 35 of Grubby. So not too bad here for lowly. He's not that economically behind despite having all these Zerglings. He's going to be a little bit behind just because he did produce a lot of Zerglings, so Grubby will have been on more harvesters for longer, but as we can see, lowly is now transitioning into getting drones and things, so he's now going to start to catch up in drone count, whereas Grubby's just had this base mining for quite a while. Early on that this hatchery was being used just to produce Zerglings, so there wasn't a whole lot of mining going on at this natural expansion. Grubby's going to be just a little bit ahead, and if we check out the units lost tab, we can see that actually Grubby's so far been way more efficient right now. All he lost is a forge, a zealot, didn't even lose any sentries, and only lost a couple of probes there, so he really didn't lose all that much. And as you can see in the units lost tab, we can see that lowly has lost about 3 times the amount that Grubby has lost so far, so that's definitely not a good position to be in there for lowly. But we do now have void rays now moving across the map. Oh man, and there's my morning voice trying to kick in. Too much talking this early in the morning. I'm gonna need to get some orange juice or something here for game 2 to get to soothe my voice just a little bit. More void rays coming across the map though right now. 2 void rays currently out on the field. Looks like they are going to be able to deny that 3rd expansion. There are a lot of queens now out on the map. If we check out that unit counting station, 4 queens currently out here for lowly, and it looks like, ooh, Grubby needs to be very careful about pulling those void rays back, and now lowly needs to be careful about pulling these queens back. They are now off creep. Spore crawlers now going down all over for lowly. Looks like 1 at each base so far. Yeah, it looks like 1 at each base. How heavily is Grubby going to be committing to that Stargate tech? He does now have Phoenixes coming across the map here, and he's got 2 Phoenixes out already, so far 3 Phoenixes out on the map, as well as 2 Void Rays. Not a whole lot of gateway units, producing a lot of sentries back in his main. 6 sentries currently up here for Grubby, so he's going to have a lot of force fields if he needs them, but now we do have lowly throwing down a lot more Spore Crawlers. This is a good reaction for lowly, because right now there's so many air units coming out on the field, he's not going to have Hydralisks up anytime soon. Lair Tech is up, however, and no Hydralisk Den coming down quite yet here for lowly, but man, there are a lot of queens out on the field. These queens all being lifted up though, and it looks like Grubby's going to start to focus them down with these Void Rays, and yeah, those Void Rays are starting to get fully charged up. They're starting to deal a lot of damage. Lowly trying to focus down that 1 Void Ray, that 1 weak Void Ray, and will it go down? Yeah, it does finally go down, and now it looks like he's going to have to move these Spore Crawlers into position. They are going to start to burrow. Spore Crawlers now only take 6 seconds to burrow as opposed to before, and oh no, Grubby almost loses that Void Ray, pulls it back with 1 hit point there. Nice pullback there by Grubby. Definitely could have pulled that back earlier though. Infestation Pit now out on the field. Pathogen glands coming up as well, so it looks like lowly is just going to be trying to go Ling Infestor to try to deal with these air units. The air units will be handled fairly well by those infestors if he can get off some good fungal growths and get Spore Crawlers in position. But yeah, I don't know how he's going to be able to deal with this big gateway army here, because Grubby's really going to be able to keep up a lot of harass at this point. He's going to have these full air control. He has full map control right now. Lowly does have these Zerglings on the watchtower, so he does see the middle of the map, but I would give the map control right now to Grubby just because he's got these Void Rays and these Phoenixes moving all around the map. lowEly just now taking his third expansion here. Looks like he's finally getting saturated there, throwing up those spore crawlers at that third as well. Grubby also taking that third expansion. Notice that on Terminus here, there is a third expansion that is only kind of a half expansion. I believe this is a rich Vespene, isn't it? No, on this version of the map, that is not a rich Vespene geyser, and there are 5 mineral patches here, so it is not a full expansion, so it is going to be 2.5 expansions here for both these players, but 2.5 expansions is still a scary number of expansions to deal with here from a Protoss player. Now, he is transitioning now that he's got these gateway units out on the field. It looks like he's going to be transitioning into gateway units with Colossi, so it looks like he's just going to be going for that big murder ball style that Protoss players love to go for. He's kept his opponent on the defensive so long. lowEly really hasn't been able to do too many counterattacks or anything, and as we can see, Grubby is ahead in the food count, 119 to 102 right now. Fungal Growth's going down on the army units of Grubby, and Grubby, this one Colossus doing so much damage right now, taking out 3 queens at once, and those queens are falling so fast, and these phoenixes are now coming in. Will they be lifting up? Yes, they are going to be lifting up those infestors. So much damage being dealt. Banelings coming in right now, but beautiful force fields going down from Grubby. Actually, probably too many force fields going down for Grubby, but man, he is just being so cost efficient right now. The Phoenix is coming in right now, picking up everything, picking up those infestors before they're able to get off too many fungal growth there. But oh no, nice fungal growth there for lowEly. Does manage to pick off a few Phoenixes there, and as we can see, Grubby is just being so much more cost efficient with those beautiful force fields. Checking out that units lost tab, he still has more than double, or more than half rather, of units lost of lowEly. So he is in a fantastic position, being very, very cost effective. Forward pylons are now in position. He's warping in lots and lots of units. He's got lots of sentries with lots of energy right now as well, so he's doing very, very well. We're up to so many gateways right now. Is he continuing to produce Colossi? Yeah, more Colossi are currently being rallied across the map, and look at this, Grubby even taking a base right outside of his opponent's base. Destructible Rocks now going down to the third of lowEly, and lowEly really just doesn't have that much. He's got a few infestors out on the field, some Zerglings, needs to get off some really nice fungal growths if he's going to want to be able to survive this. Ooh, there goes. That's a beautiful fungal growth there from lowEly as the Zergling's trying to get around here. Nice force fields here from Grubby. Notice he's blocking off this attack path, forcing all these units to have to come around this hatchery this way if they're going to want to be able to attack these units. Big counterattack coming across here for lowEly. Going to try to send some Zerglings to his opponent's main. Beautiful force fields going down, trapping a lot of the Zerglings there. And now there's not that many Zerglings making it across the map here, but there is a Colossi here. Will it get picked off? No, it looks like lowEly's just going to try to go directly for the third base, but wow! Grubby managing to fill all those gaps with pylons right as the Zerglings get there, and now this Colossus on the high ground, going to be able to defend from all these Zerglings. In the meantime, he's just got this massive army at the front of lowEly's base right now. He does have an observer in the mix as well. And now he does have a Nexus, a fourth base right outside the base here of imbaLoWeLy, interestingly enough. And his food count is just so much higher than lowEly at this point, 166 to 133. He's being so much more cost efficient with his army. lowEly, though, getting a very scary force up of infestors, 9 infestors currently out on the field. Spire is on the way, but it is so far up. It's still got another 80 or 70 or 80 seconds to go to get that up. It is going to be a ways before he gets it. Hive Tech currently on the way, but he needs to be pumping out lots and lots of units. He's definitely not in a good position right now. He is 3 base against 3 base, just now getting on 4 base of Grubby here. So lowEly is not looking good in the economic way right now. 65 harvesters to 64 at this point in time. Blink currently being researched here for Grubby. I actually really, really like that play. Now that he's got his opponent pinned to 3 bases, he wants units that are mobile, that he can poke in, he can blink up into the main, deal some damage, and then just pull back to his massive army that's all just positioned here right outside the army. Ooh, nice fungal growth there going down for lowEly as he manages to grab a couple of those Phoenixes, and it looks like that one Phoenix does go down here, but he did lose a couple of infestors there. More fungal growths trying to go down, and beautiful feedbacks going down here for Grubby on those infestors, losing a lot of energy, taking a lot of damage. More fungal growths going down on the army. Nice fungal growths, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Here come all the Lings and Banelings, and nice force fields go down here from Grubby, blocking all these Banelings and Zerglings from dealing any damage, and look at the Colossi just decimating all the Zerglings and all the Banelings. These Colossi have so many kills right now. This is a master Colossus right now with 16 kills. These Colossus are just doing so well right now. Colossi coupled with force fields just do so well against ground forces, and lowEly really just needed to get up Corruptors sooner. 8 Corruptors are currently on the way, but Grubby is still way ahead in the food count, 170, almost 180 food to the 135 of lowEly. As a Zerg player, you always want to be way up in the food count if you can help it. And I think these Corruptors are just going to be they're just not going to be quite enough. He needed to get them up earlier. He needed to get those Colossi downed much earlier, but now the Colossi count is starting to get rather high. More Colossi are currently on the way, as well as +2 ground weapons here for Protoss. Looks like he's coming in now with some Zerglings and some Banelings, and again, look at that. Look at the Banelings are having to go all the way around here to be able to get to their forces, and even then, more force fields are just going down, preventing those Banelings from dealing too much damage. Fungal growths are going down on a lot of Stalkers. Those Stalkers are taking a lot of damage. Corruptors are now out on the field focusing down all the Colossi, but the Stalker count right now is very high here for Grubby, and he's continuing to warp in more Zealots to be able to take damage for his Stalkers and take more damage from those Zerglings, and here he is now moving in with a lot of Stalkers, and remember, these Stalkers do have Blink. There's the Blink forward, gonna Blink forward, start to pick off those Infestors. I don't know about that choice to Blink forward there from Grubby. That Blink forward is gonna be pretty sketchy right now. He's gonna lose a lot of Stalkers there. I think he blinked into a bigger army than he really thought was gonna be there. There's still a high Zealot count though, and here's one Colossus, 2 Colossi now out on the field here, but these Corruptor numbers slowly following here, and Grubby still up in the food count, 136 to 80, and it looks like he finally might have broken the defenses of Lowly, and he's now going to be moving into the natural expansion, picking off that Queen. See you later, Corruptors. Corruptors all going down to those Stalkers, which are currently 2-1 in upgrades, and now the natural expansion is going to start to get focused down as Grubby takes a 5th base, and Lowly GG's out of Game 1. Ladies and gentlemen, that means that Grubby has taken Game 1, and we are going to be going on to Game 2 to see if Lowly can take his revenge against Grubby, oh, where's he from? The Protoss from the Netherlands. That's right, the Netherlands. So we're going to be going into Game 2 here in just a moment, guys, so stick with me.